My boyfriend embarrassed me at a wedding. Should I break up with him? My 24 female boyfriend, 31 male, got trashed at a wedding where I was the maid of honor. He embarrassed me and himself and proceeded to lie about some things. About a year and a half ago, my best friend became engaged to her now husband. I was asked to be the maid of honor and was extremely happy to do so. Over the past year, I helped her with whatever needed to be done. Throughout all of this, I talked to my boyfriend about it. He knew how happy I was for her. He knew that I had a big part in the wedding. He knew my parents would be attending the wedding. He knew everything that I knew about the wedding. He knew the day and time and what would be expected of him and when he needs to show up. For what it's worth, I didn't talk his ear off about the wedding. I would really only talk about it if I had gone, for example, dress shopping or something with my friend. However, last week, a couple of days before the wedding, he started to act kind of weird about it. He said something along the lines of, "I know you don't want to be involved in the wedding. It'll be over soon. And then you can forget all about it and everything will be normal again." I've been nothing but happy and excited for my friend and this wedding, but he continued to act like I wasn't having fun and tried to convince me that I hated every minute of helping my friend plan her wedding. Last week, he continued talking about the wedding like it was something awful and stupid. He treated it as an annoying chore we had to do. He complained about having to go. He even asked me after the rehearsal dinner if he could just not go to the wedding at all. Keep in mind, I had already RSVP'd for both of us. My parents were expecting him. He just dropped that on me as we were going to bed before the wedding day. He's also never expressed his congratulations toward the bride and groom at any point. What is going on here? The day of the wedding was this past Saturday. I told my boyfriend what time he needed to show up. Lately, he's been notoriously late for everything, like several hours late to anything he's invited to. He's always been late, but it's been getting ridiculous. A lot of times he's late because he's hanging out with one of his friends, the devil's lettuce, and playing video games, and he ends up losing track of time. I didn't want him to be late to my best friend's wedding, so I basically told him he needed to be there 3 hours earlier than what was necessary. I told him he needed to be there at 1 p.m. when in reality he needed to be there before 4:30. He showed up at around 4:30 p.m. So he got there right as hours started and got so he missed the wedding. I was told by someone else that he was pounding back all the as soon as the bartender started to serve. Then he sat with my parents and told my mom, if I didn't come to this thing, OP would have killed me. Once the bride and groom were announced, Mr. and Mrs. X, my boyfriend loudly cheered and loudly clapped as everyone else did a normal clap. It wasn't a very big wedding, so it was weird and awkward when he did this. It stood out a lot, and it was obvious that he was already inebriated. Multiple people looked over at him in a WTF way. I felt awful and embarrassed when this happened. After all the photos were taken, he found me and told me that his work called and he needed to go in ASAP. Before the wedding, he assured me he had taken the day off and that his work, he's a bartender, knew he would be at a wedding that day. I knew he was lying to me, but I didn't care at that point. He left. He Ubered to supposedly go to work. So when I finally got home at around 2 a.m., he told me that it turned out that work didn't actually need him and he forgot the name of the venue, so he couldn't Uber back to it. And that his phone was acting weird and couldn't get a message to be sent to me. Okay, so he had the venue in his phone because he Ubered from the venue to work. So the address would have been saved in his phone. No. He lying about something. He told me how he really wanted to come back to the reception, but he just couldn't make it happen. Obviously, those were all lies. I feel like his behavior was just abhorrent. I'm so pissed at him right now. I'm looking at him in a new negative light, and I can't stop thinking how awful he was throughout the whole wedding event. I know some people act weird about weddings sometimes, but this takes the freaking cake. Is there any coming back from this? I feel like I'm always going to be off about what happened. I don't know if I can forgive him. I've thought about ending it with him because of this. I don't know if I'm overreacting or not. I don't think he has any intentions of apologizing. We haven't talked about the wedding that much since this past Saturday. He doesn't think he's done anything wrong. What do I do? Am I crazy to think his actions are god awful? I would break up with someone just purely on the fact that he's late all the time, let alone the being like a drunken loser. Yeah, it is a little inappropriate. And he is lying about things. Yeah, I don't know. There's something going on here. Edit to add. I was not expecting this to blow up. I was wanting to create a throwaway account so my post wouldn't be that noticeable. Oh well, my boyfriend uses Reddit, but I don't think he goes to the relationship subreddits at all. Anyways, I tried most of the comments here, and I've been thinking about what you all have said. It's basically confirmed that I need to end things with him. I actually tried to end things with him a couple of hours ago. He doesn't seem to be accepting of the breakup. He started to apologize to me about what happened and how he'll try to do better. I'm currently at a friend's house for the night. I brought some things with me, but that should last a couple of days. But I'm really not sure what else to do. Both our names are on the lease and he's still at the apartment for all I know. As of now, he doesn't want to leave the apartment, so we'll see what happens. So we do have an update. First of all, thank you to everyone who commented on my last post. It gave me a lot to think about and confirmed things for me that I wasn't ready to admit. Second, there were frequent comments about my ex and I wanted to clear up. Ex, you say? Some people thought he had anxiety about weddings or people he didn't know. He knew the bride and groom very well, and we used to go out on double dates a lot. He's even spent time one-on-one with the groom. He knew a lot of other people at the wedding. He only sat with my parents because my parents didn't know anyone else besides the bride and a couple of my other friends who were bridesmaids or were part of the wedding in some way. He's a social butterfly and has been to more weddings than me. He's even gone solo to a couple of weddings he was invited to, no plus one, for former coworkers while we were together. Many people suggested he had a crush on the bride. I can't confirm this, but I'm leaning toward no. It's possible, of course. Doesn't matter at this point. It could be, but I think this is also just good old-fashioned, he doesn't like what this wedding represents, which is also everyone around him starting to grow up and he doesn't want to. All I can really say is they are complete opposites. They have little in common and he would consider her not his type. This is not an insult to the bride. She's a beautiful person and I'm considered his type. Again, he may have had feelings for her, but if he did, I never picked up on it. After I initially tried to end it with him, he texted and called and DM'd me and basically used any means of communication possible to get my attention. He started by apologizing profusely and asking him to give him another chance. I didn't respond to all of this because I don't know what to say. I turned off my phone before I went to sleep, and when I woke up, I had a ton of voicemails and messages. He sounded extremely angry in some of them, called me names, told me he hated me, said the classic line of, "You'll never do better than me." Some of the last messages he sent were him apologizing for the messages he left throughout the night because he was and that it didn't count, whatever. The apartment issue has been a nightmare. It's going to be extremely expensive to get out of the lease and only have his name on it. Apparently, they need both of our signatures in order for this to happen, and I'll need to pay a fee. The only communication I've had with my ex is to ask him to sign the new leasing agreement, which he refuses to do. I still had to pay for rent for March. The lease isn't up for several more months. I can't afford to pay 2 rents at once. Ooh. This is a messy situation. Messy situation. I did manage to get my stuff out. I called the bar he works at and talked to one of the women there I felt comfortable with. I told her my situation and asked if she could call me the next time he showed up for his shift so I could get my things. I had a bunch of my friends come to the apartment with boxes and plastic tubs and got most of my stuff. Unfortunately, my TV, it's huge, sofa, and a couple of other larger things couldn't be grabbed, but I got everything important. When he found out I took all my stuff, the text messages and voicemails began again, where he spewed more vitriol at me, demanding me to come home immediately. The next day, he started sending me apology messages. My current challenges are trying to find a place to live for the next few months and what to do about the current lease with both our names. I have friends that understand my situation and are allowing me to couch surf for a bit, but it's not a permanent solution. I'm still trying to figure out how to get out of this lease, but the apartment management has been difficult. I'm not totally convinced that they need both signatures, but that's what they keep stressing. The worst case scenario is I have to quit my job and live with my parents for a bit. They are an hour away, and drive an hour to class a few times a week until the semester is over. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like an awful situation, but at least, you know, it's a less bad situation than what you were in. I'm glad that you broke up with your boyfriend, OP. His reaction was very telling.